Feroz, let me get some opening thoughts with you as well before we dive into the tax calculations. What did you think of the budget? At least there was no change on capital gains, and this income tax relief seems fairly real.
Yes, it is, of course.
And substantial.
Real. Absolutely substantial. I had about 3-4 demands. I think inadvertently they've been heard. One is consistency, simplicity. The other was parity. These were the 3 things I was asking for. Consistency, taxes haven't been changed. Just in 8 months, we had all asset classes being touched on the capital gain front. Of course, we are waiting for the bill to come in, and I'm reasonably sure that the tax rates won't be changing. That's point 1. In terms of simplicity, there's one very strong nuance, which exemplifies simplicity, is the tax rates and slabs have become multiples of 4 and 5. You see, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Yes, I've never been able to remember these because
and
every
now we can,
and the rates are 5, 10, 15,
20.
25, 30. So that's simplicity. Parity. See, consultants used to have Section 44A. Okay, if there was a salaried guy, he would have no headroom at all. He would pay 30% marginal tax rate. A consultant, if you just redesign my agreement, and if I'm below 75 lakhs, and if I can go for presumptive, as a consultant, I would bring down my tax to 1/5, right? And that was such a big disparity. A consultant also works as much, and employee works more, but employees have zero headroom. You're going like a train. And then you have consultants who are like auto. They can change lanes anywhere. So I think that also has that disparity has been reduced.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and those are some of the big salient features of the tax relief that has been ushered in. Feroz, that brings us to the other big question that I'm sure a lot of your clients also must be wondering or thinking. I mean, the ones that have been, following the old regime till now, whether now with this level of a tax rejig in terms of the slabs, the rates, whether it's just simpler and easier to move to the new regime itself. I mean, what's the kind of first cut analysis, or what's the advice that you're giving out there?
No, it's very clear that you don't have to do the old tax regime at all unless you're married to it and there's some emotional attachment you have. Okay, because Nirmala ma'am has done something very smart. Okay, when you do the back of the envelope calculation, the perceived value of the gift is greater than the actual value of the gift. When you look at how the tax payers are there, if you give 80,000 benefit to such a large universe, she would have actually ended up spending 2,62,000 crores. But in this budget speech, she said 1,10,000.
That is how much she has to let go.
Let go. But actually perceived value is 80,000 per head for those many taxpayers. That's because a lot of them are actually using the old tax regime and getting a lot of jugaad wala paisa. Right? Now so its perceived value is greater than the actual value. So it's not going to benefit so much consumption as much as people are saying it is. Second, ULIP is a write-off. ULIP, there was an intersection between ULIP buyers and the old tax regime guys, almost 90%. If old tax regime is gone, ULIP as a Jan, Feb, March product is written off.
Correct.
So that's the long-term impact of that. The third, so I personally tell everybody to go into the new tax regime. Don't invest in debt, which is forceful debt. If you have to ask me, my clients come from an HNI and ultra HNI backdrop.
That's right.
So I'm getting their PPFs and EPFs also withdrawn because there's no point being in there. You can rather have debt because marginal tax rates have come down. Capital gain tax also is beneficial. The third thing, which is very important, is jugaad will stop in this country.
How do you say that, or why do you say that?
Because 3 jugaads used to be done by salaried guys also. Because India ke blood mein hai. Ek to what he would do, he would fudge rent receipts. That was one of the biggest data point which ministry has. Rent ki time aa gayi, rent receipt fudge kar raha aadmi, de raha hai salary. Because that's the only thing he was left with. Second, people who donate to political parties, they will donate to NGOs and they're taking some kickbacks. So all this will stop because the new tax regime doesn't allow that.
Correct.
That's the most important message for me. Ethical professionals will be rewarded in the new tax regime.
Correct.
So that I think is getting missed out completely. And the last bit is the old tax regime has anyways become defunct for everybody who earns. There are 1,350 people who earn more than 10 crores. The surcharge cap of 37 down to 25 is only applicable in the new tax regime.
Correct.
These 1,350 people, none of them were in the old tax regime. Because
they had anyway moved on because they were getting a lower surcharge rate in the new regime.
So that's why I'm saying the perceived value is greater than the actual one.
Feroz, your thoughts on this whole old versus new debate. Help us out. Generally, I mean, you said directionally you're better off in the new, but is this the rough break-even level that you can curve with?
Like you rightly said, because the ones which are the common ones is 4.5 lakh summation, even if you use the NPS 50,000 limit. unless you're doing those exceptional ones like disabled
donating to political parties, donating
disabled
to charity,
parents,
and all of that. Yeah,
4.5 lakhs, and then leaves you with another 3.5 lakhs. Like Sonu said, 8 lakhs is the break even. So if you look at a metro city, because HR is also a complex one, right? It is 50% of your basic. There are 3 rules, and the worse off is how it is calculated. So 82 to 83,000. So I think whatever example you gave, 1 lakh, I completely endorse that. And I personally think you should never swim against the tide. Now, कितना बचा लोगे? 20,000 2 साल के लिए. Come swim with the tide. It's always a good thing to do. That's my opinion. Now, you can do second decimal mathematics to save 12,000 rupees. You can work a little harder and get that 50,000 rupee extra bonus as a professional.
Okay, one more thing that I want both of you to clarify on. When we are filing our income tax return, so that could include all kinds of income, right? There's income from salary, there could be income from interest, there's income from capital gains, different, varied heads of income. So when we are saying that rebate is, as much as 60,000, if total income, taxable income is less than 12 lakh rupees, then that is what? That's only salaried income? Point as well.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. Feroz, you want to add to it?
So what Sonu explained, for its application, where's the good news? The good news is for debt funds.
Okay.
Right? If a guy has 1 crore rupees in a debt fund, he's going to earn 7 crores, 7 lakhs, right? If you're earning 7 lakhs, it's anyways taxed at marginal tax rate, so there will be 0 capital gain because there is a rebate.
Okay.
So this is very good for senior citizens who were very upset that you're now pushing me back to deposits because both are now marginal tax rate. So it's a great news for all products who are at marginal tax rate anyway.
Whatever is taxed at slab rate is clubbed in this limit of 12 lakhs.
Absolutely.
That is the important takeaway. Okay, I think we're down to the last 30 seconds. So very quickly want final advice from our guests. Feroz, in terms of our mutual fund investments, though of course nothing has changed in terms of capital gains, but the market started believing that now with this big income tax cut, consumption will do well, consumer stocks will do well. You should not have manufacturing and capex too much in your portfolio. I know market can also, go to excesses. But from a mutual fund portfolio perspective, would you change anything, add or subtract anything?
So I personally think these are narratives built. Somebody actually told me the same narrative in one of those panels on the budget day. I asked him, what are the top 3 expenditures of the government apart from interest? It is transport, defense, and railways, right? So all of it has some degree of capital gain, right? So it can be consumer spending, which can be propelled. Of course, I have for the last 6 months been saying ABC is the theme. Automobile, banking, and consumption are the themes which fund managers should also skew. But you need not buy a specific thematic scheme to get the benefit of this ABC. And this ABC got reinforced in this budget, thankfully.